This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Draft zone.
Who else could it be? Me, your me, Louie T. Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. This is the 2015 NFL Draft Wrap-Up Series, where I aim to break down all 32 teams in the National Football League's 2015 NFL Draft. In order to do so, I must look at each and every single selection made by X said team in the 2015 NFL Draft, and breaking them down, we give them scores using our baseball grading scale: single, double, triple, home run. There are no strikeouts in the Draft Wrap-Up Series, so I cannot tell how these players are going to pan out, and I don't want to discount any of these young men before they get their chance in the National Football League. And so we get an aggregate score after adding all of the totals up, applying bonuses when necessary. We divide by the number of picks made by that team in the draft, and voila, we get a final score for that team's draft. Move on to the next team in the process, picked by you. That's right, you at home, the viewers, are the ones in total control by simply being the first to leave a post in the comment section of this and future videos stating the phrase "next" and the team you would like to see next. We're getting towards the finish line. That means we're winding down this series. Not a lot of teams left that haven't been done, so make sure you stick around. Even if you're not first, make sure you still post next and the team you'd like to see next if you are around when the video first drops, because there are some others that have been very careless putting up teams that have already been done or forgetting the phrase "next." You never know what's going to happen. Just be very diligent in your pursuit of getting your team up in this process. But look, forget about all of that, okay? All the particulars are out of the way. The next team up in the series is none other than the Tennessee Titans. And I'm gonna be real honest. This entire video is going to be all honesty from your man, Louie T. And generally speaking, when am I not honest, okay? I give you brutal honesty all day, every day. It's the only way I know how to operate. However, I'm gonna be really, really honest with the Tennessee Titans fans in this episode. I'm gonna tell you what. First things first. I've said this before. I've said it many, many times. The Tennessee Titans are easily the most boring team in all of National Football League to watch. However, I'm excited about this team this year. I'm actually excited about Tennessee Titans football in 2015. New quarterback, new running game, a lot of different pieces. I'm excited. DGB out there. Man, I'm telling you, there's a lot to be excited for this season with the Tennessee Titans. In past years, could not say the same thing. Let's jump into this 2015 NFL Draft, because I'm finally seeing the Titans put a semblance of a football team together that can get you excited. I remember listening to my man James on his show, and James basically said at the end of the year last year, there was about 3 or 4 players that he wanted to keep, and he was like, blow the rest of the team up. Blow the whole thing up, start from scratch, keep these 4 players, and let's just start anew. And that's when you know it's bad. And you know, James Carter can be over the top sometimes. That's my boy though. He can be over the top at times, but that was real. That was real. I mean, this team wasn't good at all. So this is going to be a really pivotal draft. If this Titans team is going to turn things around, it starts with their first pick. That second pick is just as big, and then you move from there and you build your team through the draft. You get some building blocks, you build from there, and if this team is going to start making some noise defensively, if they're going to start challenging the other teams in the AFC South, they're going to have to start winning here in the draft before they can start winning out on the field. Let's start in their 2015 NFL Draft. In the first round, 2nd overall selection, quarterback out of Oregon. Marcus Mariota is the selection. This was a very talked about pick throughout the entire draft process. Willie, won't he go second overall to the Titans? Are they going to trade this pick to San Diego? Will they trade it to the Philadelphia Eagles and Chip Kelly? A lot of that was put to rest early on as Chip gave away all of his bargaining chips. Hey, no pun intended there. Or maybe it was. At the end of the day, the Eagles didn't have enough to come up. And the Titans had already made it known. We want king's ransom for this pick. If somebody is that thirsty to come up to get the second overall selection in the draft, you better be ready to give up this year's draft, next year's draft, the next year after that's draft, and possibly the draft after that. I mean, they were really asking for a lot. So it really made it a situation where they were going to have to make a selection at 2 because nobody was going to be willing to part ways with what the Titans were asking for. At number 2, the asking price was just too high. So that left the Titans in a bit of a quandary. Do you take a defensive player here, or do you take the can't miss prospect at quarterback, or so many have thought? Now, you look at their quarterback situation, Zach Mettenberger. Do we like him? Do we love him? Can he start for us? Is he a backup? Who knows? I know he's got a little beef going on with J.J. Watt, but that's irrelevant. Can he get it done on the field? Not really sure about that. Do you want to stake your claim as Titans head coach, if you're Ken Wisenhunt, on the right arm and 2 knees of Zach Mettenberger? I don't know if you want to do that or not. So in order to alleviate yourself of that situation, you take the best player available. And also, you know how it goes in this league. You don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. Now you feel like you've got maybe 2 good ones, maybe 1 great one and a good one. Who knows? But Marcus Mariota was the right selection here at number 2. Titans give themselves an immediate chance to be competitive in the AFC South. This division is not that good. If you can string together some victories and you can get some competent play out of this guy, have the defense start to show up, you're switching from that 4-3 to a 3-4 defense. If you get all the pieces necessary to show up, and usually it's a tough transition from a 4-3 to a 3-4. Look, at the end of the day, if the Titans are able to make this stuff work and Marcus Mariota is who we think he can be, this team could be right there, not necessarily a playoff team, but right there at the end of the season saying, you know what? We're right there where we need to be to start striking in the AFC South division. So in the first round, second overall selection, quarterback out of Oregon, Marcus Mariota for me. It's hit hard. It's hit deep. Out of here. It's a home run. You know what it is. You knew what this was. It's a home run. Of course, it's a big, deep shot to left field. I'm not going to break this guy down. I've already broken him and many others like himself down in the Draft Prospects 101 series. You're looking for a thorough breakdown of Marcus Mariota and what I feel like he brings to the table at the next level. Check that video out. This is a guy that can change the game for the Titans. You need to get him to put ink to paper first and foremost. But after you do that, this is a guy that can help you change the game in Tennessee and get you back to a situation where you're actually a viable player in the AFC South division. I know this much for sure. Titans football is going to be a lot more fun and enjoyable in 2015 because that man is under center in 2015. You go to your second round selection, 40th overall selection, wide receiver out of Oklahoma, Dorial Green-Beckham is the selection. This is a pick that you traded back with the Giants, allowed them to come up and take the safety out of Alabama and allowed you to go back, pick up some picks. So this was a very good move by the Titans, an extraordinary pick by the Titans here. And so this is a guy that I was extremely high on, thought he had first round talent. I thought the off the field issues pushed him out of the first round, but there is no doubt about it. I wanted someone to take him in the first round because I felt like he had that kind of ability. Titans get a steal in the second round, to be honest with you. I'm not breaking him down. As with Marcus Mariota, he's already been broken down in the Draft Prospects 101 series. And so I'm just going to say this, and we're going to keep it moving. This guy is the type of football player you need in this league. If you want to get a young quarterback, you need to marry him with a young star at the receiver position. This guy has all of the qualities on the field for a guy that can turn into a beast #1 wide receiver. You see around the league, the Des Bryants of the world, the Demaryius Thomases of the world. You look around this league, what Odell Beckham Jr. did last. Shame on you when you stepped to the old dirty Beckham. You saw what that young man came in and did last season. He could have the same type of impact. I've been saying this for at least 3 years, or as long as Kendall Wright has been your #1 wide receiver. You don't have a #1 wide receiver. I thought Justin Hunter had a chance to be that guy. He's not the guy. You don't have one. Now you do. Now you do in Dorial Green-Beckham. DGB is here. The game will never be the same in the AFC South. In the second round, 40th overall selection, wide receiver out of Oklahoma by way of Missouri, Dorial Green-Beckham is hit hard. He's hit deep. You can put him on the board. Yes. So all right, back-to-back jacks for the Tennessee Titans. In the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft, if you're going to put your team back on the map, you need to start hitting the ball out of the ballpark. 2 home runs to start off this draft is exactly what the game's been missing in Tennessee. You go to the 3rd round, 66th overall selection, offensive lineman out of Utah, Jeremiah Poutasi is the pick. And for as good as those first 2 selections were, I was expecting a hell of a follow-up in the 3rd round. And then I got this done. So that lets you know how I feel about this guy. And it's not often that I contemplate. It's not often I contemplate. And I told you this is gonna be a brutally honest video. More so than the others, because me and the Titans fans need to have a little discussion, because the Titans fans, it's been bad for the last couple of years in Tennessee. It's been really bad. That Tennessee-Baltimore game last year put me to sleep about 5 times. So we're gonna talk today. This pick right here, I actually contemplated giving out a single in the 3rd round. A single, I've never done that before. I thought about it long and hard. I said, I can't do it to the young man. I'm not gonna do it. I thought about it. I'm not gonna do it. So let's jump into his pros though. Big, 6'5", 335-pound mammoth of a man. That's where you start. If there's one thing you take away from him being drafted, you say, at least he's big. You know, if all else fails, we can kick him inside the guard, which I think is a necessity here. But all else fails, you put him at guard and you say, hey, don't let anybody pass you. Simple as that. Long limbs. He's got extremely long arms for his size. Again, 6'5". You stretch him out. Talking about a guy with a close to 7-foot wingspan. He's big, he's long, he's physical. His next pro, he's got a good push. And what I mean by that is now he's not creating movement in the run game. What I mean by a good push is he's the type of guy that if you run by him, try to be aggressive, he'll push you. And that push, because he's strong, and let's just lump this last pro in there. Polynesian strong. This is a Polynesian football player. He's got that Polynesian strength. This ain't your normal strength. You know how those Polynesians do it, man. This dude's got that extra strength, that elbow grease strength. That, you know, he just gives you a little chop, you go flying 3 extra yards. Like, what the hell just hit me? Did I just get hit by a truck? Nah, you just got hit by Jeremiah Poutasi. But look, that's where all of the strengths end for this guy. There's a lot of bad here. There's a lot more bad than there is good. Let's jump into these cons, man. I was very disappointed and underwhelmed by the Titans' 3rd round selection. Limited mobility. Okay, look, I'm not really stating anything that's surprising to you. At 6'5", 335, he's a big man. So mobility being limited, you can buy that one. I can justify that, okay? But let's go to the next one. His feet are extremely slow. Okay, he played left tackle at Utah. You can't have slow feet at left tackle. That is the premier position on the offensive line. So they should have been trying to hide this man at right tackle. They should have been trying to hide him at left guard or right guard. They put him at the spotlight position, and this guy was very slow out of the block. Now I will say he had pretty good technique as far as him getting out of his stance and being ready to block, but it doesn't matter if you're moving in slow motion. I don't care how good your technique is, you're going to get beat. And his feet are extremely slow. He's a heavy-legged waist bender. Mike Mayock once upon a time told me you don't want offensive linemen that are heavy-legged waist benders. And what that means is, I already told you, he's slow of foot. So you got the sluggish lower body. Then you get a guy that bends at the hips, bends at the waist. Here, instead of moving and bending like this, he's bending like this. And what you get a lot of times is a guy overextending and reaching. Instead of him moving his feet to get in front of somebody, he's lunging at them. He's reaching at them. You get beat that way. And I saw him too many times on tape reaching for guys because he's got long arms. And maybe he used to get away with that once upon a time where guys weren't as talented. You could just stretch out those Stretch Armstrong arms of yours that are extremely long, get your hands on them and displace them and be able to keep them in front of you. You get to the college games, guys are a lot faster, more athletic, and they're just flat out better than Jeremiah Poutasi. And so they were able to beat him, and he started reaching and they started running and they just got by him. It wasn't pretty. You go to the next con. Defenders disengage from him too easily. I was very off-put by the amount of times I saw guys be able to disengage from him. Look, you got long arms. You're going to contact them before they contact you if you get out of your stance good enough. There's no reason for them to be able to disengage and run by you, or disengage, find a football, make a play. You should be on them. You should be locked in. You should be driving these guys 3 and 4 yards off the line of scrimmage on run plays and in passing plays. Lock him up. Lock him up. You should be locking guys up. They should be in quicksand as soon as they hit your hands. Quicksand. They can't go anywhere, except that's not what happens. They disengage from you and they find the ball carrier, whether it's the quarterback, the running back, the wide receiver, whomever. They're getting to the ball carrier. He's not engaging and staying engaged with his blockers and finishing the job. Finally, he needs more of a nasty disposition. He's too nice. Look, there was one time on tape, he got me excited, okay? It's a running play. And too many times on tape, okay? It'd be a running play, and his job was to get to the reach block and just get to the second level. Just get out there, see who you can block. And he would run out to no man's land and look around, and I don't have anybody to block. I don't see anybody to block. And he would do absolutely nothing, okay? So it's one of these plays, he gets to the second level, looks around, there's nobody to block, and he's just running, following the play, and he sees a defender just helpless, not paying attention, and he just chucks him. Knocks him down on the ground, and I got excited. I said, there you go, Jeremiah. Attaboy. That's the spirit. Get physical, man. Start roughing dudes up for no reason. And I didn't see that again. He was soft. Guys were bullying him. And I'm talking about a 6'5", 335-pound offensive lineman. Hey, you can't let guys do that to you, man. You can't let guys bully you. You can't let guys roughhouse you, man. You get nasty, get physical. He didn't do it, man. He didn't do it enough for me. There's not a lot here. Like, I'm in my mind right now. I'm arguing back and forth. Should I change this to a single? It was so disappointing, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna stick to my guns. In the 3rd round, 66th overall selection, offensive lineman out of Utah, Jeremiah Poutasi for me is a double. He has to play guard. There's no options here. You can't try him at tackle first and see if he can play out. He's a guard. You have to put him at guard, and you gotta hope that he's much better. You can't teach temperament, can you? You can't do that. You can teach him to be a little bit quicker out of his stance, maybe. You can teach him to maybe hold a little bit more and be a little bit more physical with his punch and aggressive. But you can't teach temperament, can you? You can't teach a guy to be a mean guy and rough. I don't know if there's success in the future of Jeremiah Poutasi or not. I'm not one that's willing to bet on that right now. I just don't see enough from this guy for him to succeed at the next level. But hey, he's a 3rd round pick. I don't like wasting 3rd round picks. He better pan out and turn that into something for the Tennessee Titans. I don't give a damn if it's a backup swing guard that can play tackle in a pinch. Something. He better turn out to be something. Don't be off the roster in 3 years. I could easily see that happening, however, with this guy. 4th round, 100th overall selection, nose tackle out of Auburn, Angelo Blackson is the pick. If you're going to run a 3-4 defense, the key to any 3-4 defense is right up the middle. You got to have a big run-stuffing nose tackle to really set it up. And you really want depth along your whole entire defensive line. From 5 to 5 to the nose tackle, you want depth on that line. You want guys that are going to hold up at the point of attack, can get occasional pressure. You're not really asking for them to do that, but if they do, add a bonus and incentive. But you're just looking for guys to stand up at the point of attack. Angelo Blackson is going to help you do exactly that along that defensive line. Let's jump into his pro 6'4", 318-pound nose tackle. I do not think he's a 5 tech, even though I saw enough athleticism to say, hey man, you might be able to kick this guy out to 5 tech. Feel good about it, but I think where you want him at 318 pounds is at the nose, and I feel damn good about him playing nose. Let me tell you. Let's jump into him being stout at the point of attack. He was immovable with one blocker, okay? One guy wasn't moving him off the spot. No way, no how, not happening. So right there, you got yourself a winner if you're talking about stopping the run and having a guy set the tone in the middle of your defense. Now, he can push the pocket. That's the next pro. He's not getting sacks, okay? Don't look for this guy to generate pressure on his own, but what he can do is set other guys up. You just went out and got Brown and Rackpo, right? You still got Mr. Morgan on the other side, right? You still got guys that you feel like can get to the quarterback, correct? So what you need is for someone to collapse the pocket so those edge rushers running up the field don't have to worry about a guy stepping up, but rather stepping back into a sack. He can collapse the pocket, he can push the pocket. He may not get the sack, but he'll set it up for someone else. Again, that's what you want out of your nose tackle. Holds up versus double teams. Very impressive. That's the next pro. Very impressive. When I saw double teams coming his way, I was expecting to see a guy get blown off the football, 3-4 yards off the ball. I didn't see that. This was a guy that was holding up versus double team. Yeah, they may blow him back a yard or two. That's the norm, okay? When a guy gets double teamed, you expect two guys totaling close to or over 700 pounds to be able to move a guy against his will that's only putting on about 320 pounds or so. You expect that. 650 should beat 320 pounds every day, all day. So when a guy is able to stand his ground after a yard or two, that's impressive. He was holding his own against double teams. That's what you want in the middle of your defense, a space eater that is willing to take on blockers, allow the linebackers to stay clean, roam the field, and make plays. He's going to help your linebackers out tremendously with his ability. Can get penetration into the backfield, running plays. I saw this guy getting into the backfield and making it his business to make plays in the backfield. So another impressive trait here with Angelo Blackson. Now I will say this, they platooned him at Auburn quite a bit. He was not on the field. They kept him fresh, which is what you want to do. That's ideal at any level. Big guys need to be fresh in order to get the most out of them. You want your football players to play at a very high level of efficiency. Keep them fresh. I talked about that stamina bar being somewhere up there around green on one of my other videos. You don't want the stamina bar down here around orange. That's close to red. You get into red with big guys that are 300 pounds plus, you're going to get absolutely nothing out of them. You keep that stamina bar around yellow or green, those guys are going to go and ball out for you, and he is exactly one of those type of players. High motor is the last pro. He's the type of guy that when he's fresh, he's out there, high motor, and he's giving you everything he's got on every single snap. Plays 9 yards down the field, he's running to the play, he's running to the football. You know, he may not get there in time to get a piece of the tackle, but he'll be around if the ball hits the ground. He'll be one of those guys diving on that loose ball. So he is a guy that gives you everything. He's got high motor, and I love that out of big guys. I love big guys with a motor that runs hot and stays hot for the entire game. You go to his cons. No pass rush presence at all. He's not a guy that's going to get you a bunch of sacks. He had 3 sacks last year, which was a career high for him, so that's a kudos in itself right there, but don't look for this guy to generate a bunch of pressure. Again, his job as a nose tackle is to collapse the pocket and help those around him get to the quarterback. The nose tackle position is not a glamorous position. You take on blockers, you eat up space. you allow other guys to shine, he's going to do that. But again, he's a 2-down player, which is his final kind. Because he doesn't get to the quarterback on 3rd downs, if it's 3rd and 7, him collapsing the pocket is nice. But wouldn't you like a guy that can actually win and get to the quarterback? Which is why he's a 2-down player, which is why he's here in the 4th round. So this is a really good football player. I was really pleased with what I saw from him. And so if he was a 3-down player, if he had one season of 6 sacks, this was a triple for me. Because if you could tell me that this guy could potentially be on the field in nickel situations, when you've got different personnel other than your base package on the field, if you could tell me he could stay on the field, and this is a triple without question, but because he got to come off the field because you're not going to get much out of him in a pass rushing situation, to me, in the 4th round, 100th overall selection, nose tackle out of Auburn, Angelo Blackson for me is a double. It's a hard hit double. He thought about rounding second base and trying for that triple. He would have got gunned at 3rd base. Better off getting your double, having a chance to score on an RBI single from somebody else, and that's what he did. It's a double for the Titans in the 4th round with Angelo Blackson. You go to the next 4th round selection. When you trade picks and trade back, you collect stuff. That's what the Titans did. And so they get another option in the 4th round, 108th overall selection, fullback out of Alabama. Jalston Fowler is the selection. I love this pick and I love fullbacks. I'm a big, huge proponent of the fullback position. It was a dying position about 3 years ago. It's starting to make a comeback. You're starting to see teams realize that what the Cowboys did last year, you can do it too. If you go out and get you a fullback and an offensive line that can block, you too can run your way to the postseason. And one of the biggest ways to do that is with a lead blocker. You put a guy in front of your running back and allow him to open up holes for you. That's the way to do it to me. And also, fullbacks offer you a little bit of extra value in the form of sneaking out into the flat. Who's ever paying attention to the fullback? Nobody ever thinks the fullback's getting the football. You can do the little fullback dive in short yardage situations, or down by the goal line, play action fake. We always see that. Nice sneak out into the flats, nobody's there, he's uncovered, easy walk-in touchdown for the fullback. I love fullbacks, and I like Jalston Fowler a lot. I like him a lot because this guy is very versatile. Let's jump into him. 5'11", 254-pound fullback. Love his size for that position. He's versatile. Guy can play fullback, can play H-back, can play tight end, and they also flexed him out quite a bit to the receiver positions. All of them, slot and out wide at Alabama. So this guy gives you a number of different ways, a myriad of options to which to use him on the football field and have him be effective for you. Swiss Army knife is what I call them. Guys like him are Swiss Army knives. You just got so many different things you can do with them and have them be effective for you. Soft hands. He can catch the football. There's one route that was so gorgeous versus Mississippi State. And it's all it was an arrow seam route, essentially. Comes out of the backfield in motion. They motion him out to the slot. He runs an arrow route, gets up the field, up the seam, uncovers, linebacker can't stay with him, throws a pass, or the quarterback throws him a gorgeous pass, drops it right in the breadbasket. He scoops it, was able to pick up about 27 yards on the play. That's what he brings to the table. In the national or the playoff game versus Ohio State, they flex him out all the way wide, out wide. And of course, 9 times out of 10, when you send a fullback out wide to the boundary, he's not getting the football. He's a decoy. You're trying to take the corner and really just get him out of the play. And so they left him out there by himself. He got the football, was able to pick up a first down. So there's a number of things he does. He's got soft hands. You throw him the football, he's going to catch it. But let's not forget about why he's a fullback. He's a bruiser in the run game. First and foremost, that's the next pro. He's a bruiser in the run game. He's going to open up holes. He's going to put a hat on the hat. He's going to get that job done. He's going to open up rushing lanes for the running back. A lot of times, when you have a very good running game and you have a fullback on the roster, the fullback is the key to the whole organization of your rushing attack. Okay? If you're going to have success, the operation hinges upon the lead blocker getting that kick out block. And he did that quite a bit, whether it was Derrick Henry or TJ Yeldon at Alabama. He was the guy with the kick out block that sent them on their way. He gets it done in the run game. Nose for the end zone. Now, he had a number of different roles. At one point, he was a running back at Alabama. Okay, before he had an injury, he was a running back too. So he was starting to get touches and really starting to become a bigger part of the offense. Has an injury, and things changed after that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But he has a nose for the end zone. He had 7 catches last year. 3 of those catches were for touchdowns, okay? So he finds the end zone when he touches the football. He's the type of guy that he's usually looking for pay dirt. And when he gets it, he's usually somewhere around the end zone, and it's hard to keep him out of the end zone when he gets the football. He's a glue guy. Last but not least, you need these type of players on your team. He was a jokester at Alabama, one of the core guys on that team. You're going to get that immediately when you get Jalston Fowler on your football team. He's a glue guy, a core guy. Guys gonna play special teams, gonna do all the dirty work, not going to complain, going to do it with a smile on his face. You need these type of unsung heroes on your team. Not everybody's gonna be a star. Not everybody's gonna be recognizable when you see them out on the street, but you need these guys. These are the guys that make up your roster that help you win football games. These are the type of guys that help you win championships. You need guys like Jalston Fowler on your football team. You go to his cons. He lacks a burst. Okay, 4'8", 640 is what this guy is. So he's not gonna run away from anybody. He's nobody's road runner. Beep, beep. He's not running from anybody. However, he gets the football. He's a tough man to bring down. He's one of those guys that rumbles. Young man rumbles. He'll rumble. You gotta get him on the ground, but he's not running away from anybody. He's not winning any track meets. Last but not least, this is the big one here though. 2012 ACL tear, all right? Before then, he was starting to really assimilate himself to Alabama and start to become a big part of the offense. Tears his ACL 3 games into the season, and just like that, he ballooned in weight. He started to contemplate whether he even wanted to play the game of football anymore. At one point, he thought about stopping. He just thought it was going to be too daunting of a task to come back. And then he talked to a number of people. They were able to convince him that that's not the way to go. He comes back, reinvents himself as a fullback, and there you have it. He's now a 4th round selection of the Tennessee Titans. Let's hope that he doesn't have any reoccurrence of tearing that left ACL, and he's able to continue to play at a relatively high level like he was able to do when he came back from that ACL tear at Alabama. In the 4th round, 108th overall selection, fullback out of Alabama. Jalston Fowler is a double, a really solid pickup, a guy that's going to help you immediately on special teams in a number of ways offensively. If used correctly, I think this guy can come in and help you on the offensive side of the football right away. Go to the 5th round, 138th overall selection, running back out of Minnesota, David Cobb is the selection. 5'11", 229 pounds of grown man we're talking about here. USDA certified beast. All right, love this guy, and I love the way he runs the football. Physical rushing style is the next pro. He powers through arm tackles, okay? If you go get this guy on the ground, you better come with your hard hat and your lunch pail. And I need one of those steel thermoses, the ones that keep the liquids cool. I need one of those too. If you're gonna get this guy on the ground, you better be ready, because he's not going down without a fight. And I just love watching guys like this who know who they are. But you got some big guys like a LeGarrette Blount who will pussyfoot around, want to jump over everybody, want to try to spin, and thinks he's an Olympic athlete and he's hurdling guys. Sometimes when you're that damn big, I just want you to run over somebody. I just want you to plow over a guy. I just want you to stiff arm somebody and say, get off me, man. I'm bigger than you. You a little boy. Get out my way. And sometimes there's something to be said about that. That's why I like the New England Patriots version of LeGarrette Blount versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers version, who was pussyfooting on 4th and 1 and wanted to jump over guys all the goddamn time. Run somebody over. Run through an arm tackle. Stiff arm somebody. Show them that you are bigger than them. And David Cobb does that on an annual basis. This is a guy that I love a lot. Good feet and vision. Now, for his size, you're basically talking about a 230-pound running back. For his size, you look at him, you don't expect his feet to be as nimble as they are. But man, was I impressed with how I saw him change directions, find cutback lanes and holes, little small creases, be able to stop and start, cut and go. The agility is there because he has really good feet. And those feet allow his eyes, that vision that he has, to take him to holes and get 7 yards out of a run that looked like it was going to be stopped for 1 or 2 yards max on a play. He gets 7, 8 yards out of that play. A play that looks like it's doomed from the start. He's stiff-arming against Michigan. This play looks doomed from the start. He gets the football. There's 2 defenders waiting on him. He's able to run those 2 defenders into a blocker. There's another guy, Frank Clark, waiting for him outside. He stiff-arms him right in his face and then takes off up the middle of the field. There was nothing here when he got the football. All of a sudden, that's a 15-yard gain right before halftime. Beautiful play, and it really shows who David Cobb is. It really, to me, it exemplifies what he is as a football player right there. The good vision, the good feet to stop on a dime, change directions, use the stiff arm and the strength to power through the hole, and then it takes us to our next pro. Good initial burst. He's not winning any long distance races, okay? He's not winning any foot races to the end zone, but he's one of these guys, when he first gets the football, from about the line of scrimmage to about 15 yards out, he's got an initial burst that can send him past defenders. If you're flat-footed, if you're underestimating his speed, he can run by you initially. Now, eventually, you're going to catch up with him, okay? He's not outrunning anybody. He's not a long-distance guy. But that initial burst allows him to get through that line of scrimmage, get through that initial wave of defenders, and get to that second level where he can really do some damage downfield. He's one of those guys that builds up speed. If you allow him to get 3-4 steps of full head of steam, that guy is going to be extremely tough to bring down. He's got solid hands as a receiver. I saw him catch the football quite a bit. Is he a natural hands catcher? I think so. I'm convinced that he's a guy that can catch the football and you can feel good about throwing it to him on third downs. But look, the guy he drafted last year, I feel like it's more of a third down back in Bishop Sankey. So I feel good about Bishop Sankey being on the field on third downs if he can protect. I don't have a problem with Bishop Sankey there. I'm going to talk about Bishop Sankey here in a second, but this guy has solid hands as a receiver. You can throw him the football. I think he can catch it and make some things happen. So he's not a one-dimensional running back. I think he can excel in all facets of the game. He mixes it up in pass pro. Look, he used to be terrible in pass pro, did David Cobb. That, to me, blocking wasn't the highest on his list of things to do. And there's one play at Minnesota, running play. He's a decoy on the play, and they send him out on a sweep, and he's actually the lead blocker. Guy comes around and jet sweep motion, and they give him the football, and David Cobb needs to get out and be the lead blocker, and he just pulls out the red blanket. Ole! He just absolutely whiffs on the block. Looks like he has absolutely no intentions of blocking any damn body. And I said, that's the old David Cobb. I don't want to see that guy anymore. That was the guy that didn't used to block for the quarterback either. He's not that guy anymore, but that play showed me that it's still there. But I was pleased with him in pass protection. I thought he stuck his nose in there. Was it always clean? Was it always efficient? No. Sometimes he got blown back, ran into the lap of the quarterback, made it tough. Sometimes guy was able to push him out of the way, get to the quarterback, but he stuck his nose in there. He wanted to block. He showed me the ability to want to get dirty and get physical and get nasty and grimy in the trenches. That's all I can ask for. If you give me a guy that wants to block, I can do the rest. I can show you how to be effective at it, but I just need you to want to do it. And he showed me that he's willing to mix it up. That was his next pro. His last pro is heavy collegiate production, almost 2,900 yards over the last 2 years, essentially. It was where he put up the big numbers, 1,600 and some change in 2014, another 1,200 and some change the year prior. So you're talking about almost 2,900 yards over the last 2 seasons and 20 touchdowns to boot. So this is a guy that had heavy collegiate production at Minnesota. You go to his cons. He lacks game-breaking speed. 4.8, 140. Again, I talked about that already. Not going to win a lot of foot races, but I love what he brings to the table. I'm gonna tell you right now, if he had 4.5, 240 like a Melvin Gordon, had he had 4.55 speed like a Jay Ajayi, this is a second round pick. He's not here for you in the 5th round. Just know that. This is a second round pick, potential 1st round pick, but because he's a 4.81 guy, he's a 5th rounder, which is to your delight, because you wouldn't have been able to select him had he not had that kind of speed. Can stand to improve his pass pro. Even though he's gotten tremendously better, markedly better at pass pro, he still needs to improve that a little bit more. But like I said before, Bishop Sankey to me is a better option on third downs. Anyhow, now I don't know how to, I'm sure, in my mind, I feel like the Titans are going to keep Bishop Sankey as a feature back, and they should, I guess. You spent the earlier pick on him last season, but I'm telling you right now, I like David Cobb more than I liked Bishop Sankey last year, and I like him even more now than I do Bishop Sankey. And you know that I call Bishop Sankey Mr. Extra Regular. Okay, that's his nickname for me, Mr. Extra Regular. Bishop Sankey, to me, is a regular back in the league. David Cobb is a potential game changer in the 5th round, 138th overall selection, running back out of Minnesota. David Cobb, for me, is a triple. You gotta remember, this guy was a hidden gem in the Big Ten. Just listen to this. You've got Melvin Gordon III in the Big Ten, drafted this year in the NFL draft. You've got Jeremy Langford out of Michigan State, drafted this year in the draft in the Big Ten as well. You've got Amir Abdullah in the Big Ten, drafted this year in the NFL draft. You've got Tevin Coleman at Indiana, drafted this year in the NFL draft. Also, you've got the Ezekiel Elliott kid from Ohio State, who will be a very high draft pick when he comes out next year, I believe. And so just think about all the studs in the Big Ten. This guy gets lost in the shuffle. He's a 5th round pick, but I'm gonna tell you right now, don't be surprised if he makes a lot of noise coming out this year and beyond for this Tennessee Titans team. I think you got a really good stable of backs now. And this allows you to put Sean Green away. Get out of here, okay? I got my bigger back now. David Cobb's gonna answer a lot of questions for you in that backfield. You go to the 6th round, 177th overall selection, outside linebacker out of Louisville. Deiontrez Mount is the selection, 6'5", 243-pound outside linebacker. To me, his biggest pro is he's a long, lanky defender. And the first thing that jumped off the screen to me was how long he was. And let's go to his next pro. Good extension of his arms to disengage. He uses that length to beat the offensive lineman in front of him. So what he does is he extends those go-go gadget arms, locks them on, and then disengage. Grabs, holds on, and then tosses them to the side. Or quickly engages and then moves. Because my arms are longer than yours, I have the advantage because I get into your chest before you get into mine. So now I control what happens. And so he's able to use that. And then off of that, he's able to fake like he's going to engage, rip, get under, and go to the quarterback. And so he's able to play off of those long arms, and he uses it to his advantage to try to get to the quarterback. He's got outstanding closing speed, and that's from these long limbs. I talked about the long arms, also long legs. He's a 6'5" guy. He's long everywhere. And so when he disengages from that offensive lineman and has a chance to get to the quarterback, it doesn't take much. It's like 3 steps. 3 big, gigantic Deiontrez Mount steps. And it's like he's at the quarterback already. So it's a joy to see this guy on the field get better because he wasn't always this good, okay? This year he had 6 sacks, by far a career high for him. He's got upside. That's the last pro. He's got a lot to learn. I think he could actually stand and put on some more weight. He's got a long frame. He could easily get to 250 pounds, I think. They didn't play him a lot in running situations. He was more of a situational pass rusher at Louisville. So there weren't a lot of opportunities for him against the run, but I think over time, if you develop this kid properly, why can't he play on every down? Early on, he's going to be a situational pass rusher. You can never have enough pass rushers in this league, whether you play a 3-4 or 4-3, it doesn't matter. Okay, when the Giants are at their best, they got pass rushers all over the place. We've seen the Seahawks in their NASCAR package. You've got pass rushers, you can get to the quarterback, you're going to win a lot of football games on the defensive side of football because that's where it's at in this league. So you can never fault a team for grabbing a guy that's extremely raw with a lot of upside but hasn't really tapped into all of his talents yet, which is what Deiontrez Mount is coming out of Louisville into the NFL. You go to his cons. Minimal collegiate production. I just told you, guy had about 8 career sacks at Louisville in 4 years. So he wasn't getting to the quarterback, okay? Last year, 6 of those sacks that I just referenced came last year. So this isn't a guy that has been lighting it up at Louisville. He wasn't even the best pass rusher on his team. So this is a guy that you're going to have to groom. You're not looking for immediate dividends if he makes your team, which I don't understand why any of these guys would not make your roster. Again, you're not a talented enough football team to not have guys make your roster unless they just flat out can't get it done. So a lot, and I'm here to tell you, from picks 1 all the way to 9, every single one of these guys deserves a shot on this roster because this team is not talented enough to shoot anybody away. So Deiontrez Mount, to me, given the opportunity to just learn and hone his craft and skill and get better, I think over time, this is someone that could probably get some pressure for you on the quarterback. Is he good enough? That's the next question. At Louisville, he was there 4 years. Never was the guy. Never was the guy. After his second year, they flat out benched him. He got a lot of starts in year 2 as a sophomore. Third year, something happened, whether they got better players, new coaching staff, or they had seen enough, whatever the case may be. They said, all right, man, you're a spot guy. We're going to put you in on passing situations. We don't need you to start games. We don't need you on the field for all 3 downs. You're going to be a specialist now. And the same thing continued in 2014. I thought he got a lot more snaps in 2014 than he did in 2013 when they really basically said, hey, you need to get better or else. So, is he good enough? You were at Louisville for 4 years and you never were the guy. Or is he good enough? And the last question, and these cons are really just questions I got. Can he put it all together? He's got a lot of physical gifts. He's long, he's athletic. He can get, when he gets by, I just told you the closing speed is tremendous. 3 steps and he's at the quarterback. I don't care how fast these guys are. He's hawking them down. There are some things here to work with. Can he put it all together? That's the question. Can he put all of them together and become some semblance of a dominant football player? We shall see. But in the 6th round, 177th overall selection, outside linebacker out of Louisville, Deiontrez Mount is a double. I'm very intrigued by the measurables. 6'5", 243, and I think he can stand to gain another 5 to 10 pounds. This guy has some things that I'm very intrigued by. Let's see if the Titans can get the most out of him as a football player. He goes to the 6th round again, 208th overall selection, center out of Boston College. Andy Gallik is the pick, 6'2", 306-pound center. Man, does he anchor beautifully. All right, this is a guy that, yeah, you might get him, initially off the snap. He may take a step or 2 back. But again, at some point, he's going to sit down, arch that back a little bit, and he's not giving any more ground. And so he anchors beautifully. You really don't have to worry about the pocket collapsing on Andy Gallik. Quick snap to set. So you need that out of your center. And to me, after left tackle and I guess potentially right tackle as well, you don't want any issues off the edges. Center is the next most important position on the offensive line. You got to be smart. You got to call out protections. You got to snap the football, get up and get into your stance and be ready to block. Andy Gallik does all of those things for me very efficiently. Nasty disposition. Look, this isn't a requirement of offensive linemen for me, okay? You don't have to have a nasty disposition, but boy, do I like when you do, okay? I get excited when I see offensive linemen with a nasty disposition because I always say this NFL game, football in general, is nothing nice about this game, man. We can be friends after the game. We can be friends after the season. It's nothing nice when you step between those white lines and they blow that whistle. There's no friends. All of that stuff goes out the window. This is a man's game. A collision, a train wreck happens on every single snap. You need to be physical with the man in front of you. Okay, he is not your friend. Let me repeat that. He is not your friend. So when I see an offensive lineman, for no other reason than because he can, because he's 300 pounds, sees a guy that has nothing to do with the play, and maybe he might try to get in the play, maybe he won't. Pick him off. Just give him a shoulder, knock him down. And this is where Andy Gallik won me over right here, early in the game, setting the tone, set the tempo, okay? Early in the game, let these guys know, I'm not your friend, man. I'm not that guy. You don't want it with me. Andy Gallik knocks the guy on the ground, okay? He tries to get up. Andy says, "Get your ass back on the ground, man." No reason for that. Other than, I can't, okay? Andy comes, guys trying to get into play at the end, picks him up. My favorite Andy Gallik play. They run a reverse with a speedy guy at Boston College. They're playing against USC. And Andy Gallik's job is to get to the second level and pick somebody off. Just, I don't give a damn who it is. Pick somebody up. And so Andy's like 15 yards down the play, right, down the field. And all of a sudden, the guy that is running the reverse breaks out of the backfield and he is hauling ass. And Andy sees him coming in his direction, sees a USC defender that has no idea that Andy is coming. Andy sizes him up, and Andy puts a charge into his ass. Put him on the ground. I said, "God damn it, Andy. You are certified, my man. Certified nasty. Nasty boy. Nasty boy. We got a nasty boy." Andy's nasty, man, and I love it. I love it. Multiple effort blocker. And I love centers that can get one. For that matter, I love any offensive lineman that can handle his first responsibility, the guy in front of him, and then say, "You know what? I've already taken care of you. I'm going to the second level and getting me seconds. I'm going to get me another slice of pie." And so you block the first guy in front of you. He's taken care of. Next guy up, and then you just turn him. You just use your angles. Turn them. Next thing you know, running backs out of the backfield, quarterbacks out of the backfield, taking off for a long run. He's a multiple effort blocker. Good mobility. I just told you about the play where he's 15, 20 yards down the field picking a guy off. They pulled him at Boston College from the center position. He's getting to the second level effortlessly. I love his mobility, man. This guy can move. And he gets out there and he usually does something, whether he's trying to cut somebody and he doesn't really succeed, but the dude had to jump over him or he got in the way, whatever, he gets the job done. I love his mobility and his ability to get to the second level in that offense. He's a smart football player, and I told you, as a center, you gotta be smart. That's a prerequisite for the position. If you're not smart, you're not able to call out blitzes, you're not able to set protection, you're not able to realize, all right, I gotta help the guard, but then I need to get back, there's a blitzer coming and pick him up, you're not gonna be able to last at that position. This guy is smart. He went to Boston College, for God's sake. He's a smart football player. You go to his cons. When double teaming, sometimes he's late to recover, and didn't happen often. I saw it like twice where he goes out, he's helping the left guard, and then they run a stunt on the other side away from him, and the outside defensive end is looping inside, and he's helping, and he realizes at the last second, oh, I need to get back, and it's too late. He's already peeled into that gap, and he's going after the quarterback. It was a sack early on against USC that happened that way. So you see that from time to time with him, but it's not a big enough issue for you to worry about that. But just know that that's something that he needs to be aware of. Doesn't generate a ton of movement in the run game. He's not a guy that's going to create 2 yards of space in the run game off the line of scrimmage. He's not going to snap the football, get a guy, and then dump truck him 3 yards away and create a new line of scrimmage. That's not who Andy Gallik is, but you don't have to do that. I just want you to get on your man, stay on your man, and don't allow him to impact the play at all. And that's what Andy Gallik does. So you're not going to have me beating him up over not creating a new line of scrimmage. As long as you get your guy out of the play and do your job, you have no complaints out of this guy right here. And so in the 6th round, 208 overall selection, center out of Boston College, Andy Gallik for me is a double. I really want to see how he's able to adjust to the NFL game. Guys are a little bit stronger, a little bit faster. I want to see if he's able to adjust to all of these things. You're not seeing the same type of athlete in the ACC that you're going to see in the NFL or even in the SEC for that matter. I want to see if he's able to adjust. He's got shorter arms at 6'2". Will he be able to adjust to the speed, the length, the athleticism, the strength of some of these other guys? If so, this guy could easily be a triple in the 6th round. But right now, he's a double for me, but I really like Andy a lot, man. Me and Andy, that's my guy. You go to the 7th round to round out this Titans draft. 245th overall selection, wide receiver out of William and Mary. Tre McBride is the selection. 6 foot, 210-pound receiver. And we start with the way he's built. This guy is built tough. He's a physically built receiver. Reminds me a little bit of Ty Montgomery, receiver drafted out of Stanford by the Green Bay Packers. He's built for it tough. If I had money, I tell you what I'd do. I'd go downtown, buy a Ford truck or two. Crazy about a Ford truck. Yeah, I'm crazy about a Ford truck. Buy me a Ford truck and cruise it up and down the road. What y'all know about that, man? Built for it tough. This guy he's built to stand up to the punishment and the rigors of the NFL game. Again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I know receivers that are 6'3" that aren't even 210 pounds. This guy's 6 feet, 210 pounds, and he looks the part. He's built physically for tough to stand up to the NFL game. Shows up in the run game. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there and block a guy. Saw that enough times on tape to feel comfortable that he'll go out there, stick his nose in the run game and really help out and allow a run that can go 7 yards to go for 70 yards if need be. He's a 4.41 athlete. The only thing I say about this, that's blazing fast by the way, in case you didn't know. Only thing I say about, I don't see it on tape. He doesn't look like a guy that's running 4.41. I see 4.49, maybe 4.48-ish. I don't see 4.41, damn near 4.39-ish. You know, we're almost talking sub 4.40 here. That's blazing fast. I didn't see blazing fast. I saw fast. I didn't see blazing fast. He makes plays, man. This guy's a big-time playmaker. You want to know why he's a big-time playmaker for the tribe at William & Mary? Tracks the deep ball well as the next pro. Man, he reminds me a lot of Devin Smith out of Ohio State, drafted by the Jets in the 2nd round. His ball tracking skills isn't as good as Devin Smith. I don't think anybody in this draft's ball tracking skills are as good as Devin Smith's, but his are really good. He goes up and makes plays. The Titans are void of playmakers. That's why I thought Justin Hunter was going to be that kind of guy, because you lack playmakers. And in that one season, Justin Hunter gave everybody hope. And then he took it away last year. He didn't do anything last season. So I think Tre McBride can come in and I think he can crack this roster, and I think he's a guy that can be a playmaker for you in this offense. Consistent production. 3 years of over 800 yards receiving in a row at William & Mary. Started from his sophomore year all the way to his senior season. Every single year, at least 800 yards receiving. So there's a level of consistency there that you're getting out of Tre McBride that you can respect at the collegiate level. Special teams value as well. He doubled as a punt and kickoff returner, had a couple of touchdowns on special teams. So he's a guy that can come in, give you some special teams help as well. You don't like your special teams situation right now, you can always have this guy go back there. Hey, Mark Mariani was cute 5 years ago. Now it's time to try Tre McBride at that same position and see if he can't give you a spark in the kick return and punt return game. You go to his cons. Occasional concentration drop. You turn on the Richmond tape. You drop 2 passes. Can't have that in a championship game. You need to really catch the football. They throw it to you. You're open. There's no distractions. There's no reason to drop the football. Wasn't inclement weather. Catch the football. Okay? Had a couple of concentration drops. Needs to catch the football. Level of competition. You know, I saw him I watched another tape. Had a huge game against Villanova. 200 and some odd yards, 11 catches, big day, 2 touchdowns, huge plays he made in the passing game. Level of competition though is what you ask yourself. The CAA is one of the best FCS divisions in all of that division, in all of FCS, okay? They're up there, they're one of the best divisions, but that's not the ACC, that's not the SEC, that's not the Pac-12, the Big 12, none of that. Big 10, none of that. How is he going to adjust to the level of competition at the next level? You always got to ask yourself when you're talking about an FCS football player or a guy that went to a smaller school. But at the end of the day, I like what he brings to the table. I think he can be a playmaker at the next level. In the 7th round to round out this Titans draft, 245th selection overall. Tre McBride out of William & Mary is a double to round out this Titans draft. This is a good draft here. This is a building block type of draft for the Titans, and they needed this in the worst way. You look at their tallies for this draft. First 2 rounds, back-to-back jacks as far as Mariota and DGB goes. Then you have a triple in the middle of your draft in David Cobb, and then you have the rest of your selections as doubles, 5 to be exact, which nets you a triple or 3 extra doubles to round out your draft. And so you tally all of that up, you end up with a 27-point draft for this Titans football team. You divide by 9, and that leaves you with a triple on the head, a 3.0 draft for the Tennessee Titans. Six doubles, nets you 3 doubles bonuses, gets you to a 27. Divide by 9, it's a triple for the Tennessee Titans in the 2015 NFL Draft. Very pleased with what they were able to accomplish. It's going to do it for the Tennessee Titans in their 2015 NFL Draft wrap up. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. Boy, I can see that light at the end of the tunnel. It's getting brighter. Who's next? There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie T, be sure to follow me on Twitter at In The Lab Room, or you can like the Facebook page at In The Lab Room. That's In The Lab Room on Facebook and at In The Lab Room on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.